Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriet Cole. Honored to be with you right here, right now, today. Love that many of you are tuning in live, and also because of the wonders of technology, we can tune in whenever it works on demand. So it's all good. Oh, this weekend, I spent a lot of time packing things up to move from my happy place back home. And so while I was only there for the summer, I had accumulated a lot of stuff there. And so it was, putting things in this bag and that bag and deciding what would go back with us and what would go away. And very naturally, the subject of today's inspiration came to mind, which is time to purge. I don't know about you, but I am a collector of things. I have way too many things and am not so good at releasing them to the universe. You know, that wonderful organizer, Marie Kondo, I think her name is. I think she wrote a book called The Art of Tidying Up. And then there's a whole bunch of books that she's written. But one of the things that I remember that she said is a way to be able to comfortably release things from your life is to take a look at it. Is this something that is serving me now? If it is no longer serving me, thank it for its service in your life and then release it. So I thought about that this weekend as I was packing things up and trying to figure out what's going to go where. And I figure usually if something is happening with me, chances are it's happening with someone else too. So I thought I would bring this topic to our forum, time to purge. And this is not just about purging physical things, but when you think about your life and what is important to your life and maybe what is not important to your life, how often do you take inventory and decide, okay, this is important, this is not important anymore. I can let go of people, places, things, experiences, memories, even. What fills your thoughts? Ask yourself, what fills your thoughts? When you wake up in the morning, what's in your head? Uh, what is going around in your head? I have a friend who has been going through a hard time recently, and he told me that he often wakes up in the middle of the night and just he's thinking too much. There's a whole lot that's swirling around in his mind and in his spirit, keeping him from sleeping. Does that ever happen to you? I wonder. It has happened to me. If my list is really, really long of things that I need to do and I haven't been as disciplined or successful in getting them done, then I sometimes will wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, I didn't do that. I didn't do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. That is not helpful. If you don't get enough rest, then it's a lot more challenging to complete whatever the tasks are that are before you. We all know this. These are such basic things, but the basic things are the ones that often get us. So I thought it would be worth it for us to consider this notion that it's time to purge now and ask ourselves, what is it that you need to get rid of? I know for me, top of the list is stuff. I have too much stuff. I need to get rid of some of it. I need to bless it and give it away, sell it, whatever it might be. What doesn't need to be in my life anymore? If I need to make a list in order to push it out, do it, but just do it. But that's the easy part, perhaps, the stuff. What about the behaviors that don't serve you anymore? What about the people? I was looking up quotes about this topic, and one of the quotes that I didn't choose, but one that I looked at and thought, wow, this is pretty deep. It was talking about the people that we often collect in our lives who can just be chatter, negativity, not something that helps to get us in the direction that is important in our lives, but um, possibly a waste of time, possibly distraction. When there's negativity and a lot of people are negative, when there's a lot of negativity around, then then what? It's like what stands in our way and what can we do about it? I think I think it's very important for us to give careful consideration to how we curate our experiences. And that is our engagement with other people, what we allow in, what do you watch on TV? What do you stream? My husband's addicted to YouTube. What are you looking at on YouTube? What games are you playing? What are you reading? What are you listening to? Who are you talking to? What is the information that is coming in to your being? And is it what you want it to be? Are you curating it so that you're feeding your soul with what it deserves? Or are you just filling it up with junk? These are important considerations that I think a lot of times we don't necessarily think of. And so at this time of year when, this is a seasonal transition right now, what can you do in this season of transition to refresh your self, to refresh your spirit, to just make it possible for your life to be sweeter and possibly simpler? What could that be? What could that be for you? What could you do for yourself right now? What can you let go of right now that would make your life sweeter and simpler? I think this is a worthwhile question. What can you purge so that your life becomes better? What are you holding on to that's making it more difficult for your life to have peace and joy and calm? Or maybe you have all those things all the time anyway. You may be one of those very special people who, at this moment, everything is in alignment and you're feeling that peace and calm. And if you have that, God bless you. How do you hold on to that? I think by continuing to let go of things that don't serve you. This notion of purging is powerful and is useful in everyday life. I found two quotes. I'm going to start with the first one and let's look at the first one and kind of unpack that. It says, "What I know for sure is that when you declutter, whether it's your home, your head, or your heart, it is astounding what will flow into that space that will enrich you, your life, and your family." That's from Peter Walsh. So I'm going to break this down into components so we can really take a look at it. Peter says, "What I know for sure is that when you declutter, get rid of stuff that you don't need, whether it's your home, your head, or your heart. Your home, the physical space, your head, what's in that brain of yours, or your heart, your soul. It is astounding what will flow into that space that will enrich you, your life, and your family." Now, this makes sense. If you let go of things and create space, do a cleanse, create space, then you have space for what you really need, for what you really want, for what you really deserve to enter. If there's no space, how's it going to get in? If there's no space, what happens? It sort of passes you by, right? But we don't want to be passed by. We want the treasures of life, the great gifts of life to come to us. We want to attract those things, the things that will serve us well, the things that will make our hearts sing, the things that make it easier for us to have joy. We want those things. We want to attract those things. And We attract them by making space for them. Think about all of our electronics and how, we're storing things on our electronics, and there's more and more and more and more and more, and then it's full. There's no more storage. So what do you do when there's no more storage? You can't save the photo or the video that you want to save. You can't. Sometimes your device won't even work if it is overfilled with stuff. So if you declutter, you let go of the things that you don't need on that device right now, it has space. It has space to welcome what you do need. The same is true, as Peter Walsh is saying, in your physical space, in your head, and in your heart. So I want you to really think about that. What are you holding on to that isn't serving you anymore? What is filling up your space, your head, your heart, and making it impossible for you to receive what you really need and deserve? Let's go to the next quote, because I found so many good ones, but this one says, get into the habit of asking yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create? We don't know whose quote that is, but I thought it was such a good one. Let's sit with this quote for a second. Get into the habit of asking yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create? And what is this? That's a word that I don't usually like because it's really vague. But in this case, the vagueness allows you to fill in, what does this mean? Get into the habit of asking yourself, does this thing, this person, this experience, this job, this whatever it is, does this support the life I'm trying to create? Look at your life and think about the things that are important in your life. Think about the things that are taking up time in your life. Does this support the life you're trying to create? How often do you find yourself caught up in something that doesn't serve you? Distracted, going way off on a tangent for something that is taking you off your path. How often do you do that? You're human, so it's likely that you do it. How often? Ask yourself, tell yourself the truth. Does this support the life I'm trying to create? And if it does not, what can you do? How can you pump the brakes on a behavior that you have that is not serving you? How can you change course? How can you release whatever it is that isn't supporting the direction that you want your life to go in? If you think about it, try to think for a moment about when you were successful in purging and what happened. I have a friend who has an injury, and because she has an injury, she can't really work right now. And she was worried, how am I going to have enough resources if I can't work? And what she decided to do over the years in her life, she has collected beautiful accessories. And, there's a huge market for branded accessories that are good quality. And so she decided, I'm going to sell them. I'm going to purge and not just give them away, but I'm going to figure out how I can sell them to people, stores that would value them so that she could get a good price. And purging something from her home that she no longer uses, no longer needs, can bring her resources, can bring her money. And so that's what she decided to do. So instead of being in a panic about not being able to work because she's injured, she got resourceful and looked around. And the answer to the question, does this support the life I'm trying to create? The this in that case is the selling of some of her possessions. That purge, in this case, the strategic purge, is making it possible for her to put food on the table. Isn't that great? What can you do? What can you do to release things that you do not need in your life right now that can help your life to be sweeter? I'm going to guess that most of us have something that we can let go of. In fact, most of us have more than one something that we can let go of. But I want to go to another side of this, the people side. Let's see. Oh, but I also tell you, Carlene Randolph says, I love that she found her oil and it gave her more resources. Yes, she found what could give her more resources. This is what I'm saying. We have the resources usually right at our fingertips if we pay attention. So now I want to move on to people, relationships. How often do we hold on to people way past their expiration date in our lives? Do you have people like that right now? People who, especially people who are negative, people who are always complaining about something. Do you have anyone like that in your life? Anyone who just, you pick up the phone and call, you know there's going to be a complaint. You meet the person somewhere and they're talking about somebody else. You talk about the potential for greatness, and instead, they're talking about what is going wrong. I'm not saying abandon your loved ones, but not everybody gets to be a forever loved one. And sometimes what you have to do is say, I can't be in this toxic relationship anymore. I don't want to be filled with negativity. You know, there was someone who was very close to my husband and me for years, and I had to stop talking to her because every single time that we were together, there was somebody who she targeted, somebody who she had to malign. She had story after story after story about one person and then the next, something negative that this person had done or said. And, it's like, why? Why are you choosing to be negative all the time? And yeah, Carlene says a few of those folks and I limit my exposure. Yeah, you have to limit your exposure. But it can be hard to do. A part of what is hard to do is if you have established patterns in your life, well, this is who I talk to all the time. This is my neighbor. I see her all the time. This is somebody who, we are close to, right? So you have a pattern of being close to someone, and so you talk to them. This particular person, I realized after a period of time, I don't like talking about people. I never have. I don't even like thinking the negative thoughts about people. It is not something that makes me happy. And every single time that I was in her company, she did this. And so I decided I'm not going around her anymore. I'm just not going to do it. And at some point along the way, she said, "Oh, you think you're better than me? Is that why you don't come around anymore?" And I didn't bite. I didn't go there. I did not say, I can't talk to you anymore because you're negative. I knew that wasn't going to make any difference. People are the way they are. But I had to make a choice from my heart, from my head, from my life. And I did not want to even think. I didn't want these thoughts to go in my head that she was saying about other people. And by the way, when people talk about people, they talk about you too. I didn't want anybody talking about me. I just didn't want it. And so I severed. I softly closed the door and just didn't go to her anymore, didn't call her anymore, and kind of naturally the relationship fizzled out. You don't always have to have a big fight. You don't have to have a showdown. Oh, I can't talk to you anymore. You don't have to do that. If it feels right to do, you could, but you don't have to. What I found is to just make a choice for myself, and that was to walk away. If I don't wanna be in this energy anymore, then I can take myself out of it. Sometimes it could be helpful to the other person to say, "Can't talk to you right now. I can't be in the space of that energy. I'm so sorry." Um, Sometimes that's better than just ghosting somebody. You have to figure it out for yourself, you know? What is the best thing? But as it relates to people, I'm telling you, many of us have relationships that are toxic, that are unhelpful, that bring us down, that give us that emotional swirl. My daughter was telling me she has one of those rings, those aura rings. And she was telling me that there was a friend, a former friend from a couple years ago, who I guess she had seen some months ago. And every time she was around this young woman, she would get anxious. And on this particular time when she had that aura ring, the messaging that was coming from the ring was, your heart is racing, your body is warming up. What's going on? You need to move yourself out of this situation. And she was in this person's company. That was the one thing that had changed. And then she was around her another time, and the same thing happened, that whatever was going on inside of her body was a strong enough reaction that this ring, which is a sensitivity thing, like the smartwatches these days, it told her, leave where you are, go somewhere else. You are not in a healthy space. We get messages. Our bodies tell us, oh, this doesn't feel good. This is not where I should be. This is not somebody I should be around. And often we ignore it for whatever the reasons are. And I'm saying, time to purge, let go, whatever isn't serving you. So Fee writes, great topic. Sekou and I purged 6 bags of clothes, shoes, hats just on Saturday. I've been trying to sell some items and it was just not working for me. After rereading Coben Proctor's You Are Born Rich, I popped up and did it. I released and let go. Thank you for this topic. Feels like reinforcement. Yes, I'm glad you made this point, Fee, because sometimes it can work to sell what the items are that you have, and sometimes you just have to let them go. I tried some years ago when Poshmark first came out, and I was like, oh, okay, I have these things. I'm going to take pictures of them and sell them on Poshmark. And I didn't have time to do that. Just that it became like another job. And so instead, let's take these things to the Goodwill, and then you can get a tax write-off, or take them to uh, Dress for Success, or one of these other, if it's clothing, to a place that will make sure that others can use it. That's a great thing to do. Getting rid of. If it works for you to sell, like my friend Carla Ray, great. If it doesn't, still box it up. Let it go. Box it up, let it go. The easier ones, again, may be the physical things that we get rid of, but it's all of the things. Let's go back to that first quote. I just want us to take a look at this again because I think it's really powerful. What I know for sure is that when you declutter, whether it's your home, your head, or your heart, your home, your head, or your heart, it is astounding what will flow into that space that will enrich you, your life, and your family. Think of it. He says it is astounding what will flow into that space that will enrich you, your life, and your family. Isn't that what we want? We want our lives to be enriched. We want the people we love to be enriched. We want greatness to surround us. We want joy and peace to be part of our everyday experience. We want less stress and strain. less challenge. And yeah, I'm absolutely on the search for peace every day. How can I invite peace and abundance into my life? And letting go of things that don't serve you makes it easier to welcome joy and peace and abundance into your life. It may not seem like it, but I can tell you from my own experience, I know it to be true. And for me, because I am one of those people I mentioned in the beginning, I got a lot of stuff. So it has to be a conscious effort to purge, to get rid of, to offer back to the universe, to put in the garbage, whatever it is, to let go of things that are not serving me anymore. Let's go to that second quote, because I think it's a perfect one to take us home, which is get into the habit of asking yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create? Whatever this is, you have something in your hand. Does this support the life I'm trying to create? Right? Sekou says, "What if people aren't buying your stuff?" That's the point that I think Fee was making. Get rid of it anyway. If they don't buy it, okay, maybe it's not supposed to be sold this time, or maybe you didn't find the right marketplace. That could be true too. I think it's very, very helpful if, especially if you need financial resources, if you can sell things that you own, so that or barter, whatever might work. But sometimes it's just letting go. Period. Let go of the things that don't serve you anymore. The people, the relationships, the items, the memories. How many of us are holding on to stuff? This happened whenever ago, and they cannot let go. Do you have that? Do you have any of those grudges holding on to something that could be decades old? Let it go. Purge it. Clear your being of anything that isn't serving you anymore. It makes such a big difference. It allows you to sleep better. It allows you to think more clearly. It allows you to put one foot in front of the other because you are not burdened by all of these things that no longer are important in your life. Charlie says, let's go. It's true. Let's go. Let's do it. Now, time to purge now. Make a list. What can you get rid of? Make that list today. Your purge list. What can you get rid of? What things? What people? What behaviors? What can you just say, okay, this is not necessary anymore. I can let this go. I can take this burden off my shoulders. And then what do I have? I have more space to breathe. I have more space to think. I have more space to create. I just have more space. Right? Isn't it a nice thought to be able to just have more space, to invite peace, to invite abundance, to invite joy, to invite people who deserve to be in your space, not just whoever. When we honor ourselves in this way, it makes life sweeter. Does not mean that it's easy. Purging is not easy. And we can purge gracefully. We don't have to hurt people or ourselves as we do it. But it is important to do it. And so I hope that as you go through this day and this week, you make that list. What are you going to purge now? Today, at least purge one thing. Give yourself that gift, at least one thing. Goodbye. Give it back to the universe. If you can do more than one, do it. Every day this week, purge something and see how it makes you feel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this message resonates with you and that is something that you can take action for your own life. All of us can purge something. I've got my list. Do you have yours? Until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.